Hello everyone and welcome to our new episode of the Expat Career And Lifestyle podcast. This is Dominika Miernik, your host, and today I have a very special guest with me from Dubai, Marie O'Neill. She's a general manager at Executive Expatriate Relocations in Dubai, a relocation and immigration company. Marie has over 15 years of experience across multiple industries, including relocation, immigration, media, IT, telecommunications, marketing, and hospitality. And with Marie today, we are going to speak about relocating to Dubai and UAE. So welcome, Marie. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dominika, and lovely to be on the show. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for accepting the invitation. So tell us a little bit about you, how your own international experience started. So I know that you are from Ireland and now you are living in Dubai. So tell us more, how did you end up in Dubai?
How did I end up here? Yes. Yeah. So yeah, I'm from Ireland. I became an expat 18 years ago. So I left Ireland and went to South Korea. After that, I went to Australia. And 13 years ago, I moved to Dubai. And 10 years ago, I joined EER and the relocation industry. So yeah, my journey started 18 years ago and kind of went around the world and ended up in Dubai. I came here for 1 to 2 years and I'm here 13 years later, have found my husband, got married, bought a house, got a dog 2 years ago and currently pregnant with our first child on the way. So yeah, Dubai has, I suppose, changed my life in many ways.
Yeah, wow, great. So congratulations on the newcomer.
Thank you.
Yeah, on the newcomer to the family.
Thank you.
Yeah. So looking back at those years of your international experience and moving and living abroad, what was your biggest challenge or biggest let's say maybe challenge, it's the better word, while living this international life?
I think definitely one thing that stands out in my memory from all the years of being an expat, and it was actually the beginning of my journey. When I was in university, I moved to Germany for 8 months. So I had lived outside of Ireland prior to that, 8 months within my 4 years of university. And then when I was 21, I left Ireland to go on start my expat journey around the world and moved to South Korea. And definitely the biggest challenge and the biggest memory, I suppose, in my mind is that arriving in South Korea when I was 21 and the lights, the cultural difference, it was just a massive shock to my system. And I did culturally struggle, I think, for the first 1 to 2 weeks with that huge change from Ireland to South Korea and the Asian culture. So I think really, that was a difficult few weeks, definitely, for me to settle in. And I must say, after that, moving to Australia and then Dubai, really they have been relatively easy because I think I had that big culture shock back in my first part of my expat career and journey. And since that, it's been quite easy because I think I had probably one of the most difficult ones at the beginning. But that definitely was the biggest challenge for me over the last 18 years was that first 2 to 3 weeks when I arrived in South Korea. And, it probably was my age at the time as well. And of course, the Asian culture to the Irish culture is extremely different. And I'm 6 foot blonde, arriving in South Korea. I kind of stood out a little bit and I have some funny stories. I was teaching English for 1.5 years there, and I had some very scared children for the first 2 or 3 weeks in the classrooms. I think they thought I was some kind of giant or something.
That's it. That's fun. Yeah. So how did you overcome this cultural shock at the beginning? What did you do?
Yeah, I suppose, look, how I overcame it, and what I would say advice to anyone is you just need to throw yourself into the culture, and embrace it and take on every part of it because you've took that step. You're moving to a new country, it's the beginning of a new life in a way. So you have to embrace everything that it has. And I suppose as well, focus on the positives, and there's always positives, and, just forget about the negatives or the hard things. And then as well, I must say, I'm quite a social person. So I spent my first few weeks, interacting with people as much as I could. There were other expats that worked in my school who I socialized with, and just tried to distract myself and become part of networks and socialize as much as possible and totally embrace the culture. And also from, a Korean perspective, I made friends with teachers and other people socially, and that helped me as well. So I would say the number one tip, and it doesn't matter where you're moving in the world, is just embrace the culture and the country. And, don't expect it's going to be the same as where you came from, because it's not. And that's the reason you are an expat and we move, because we obviously like change and new things. So just fully embrace everything it has to offer.
Yeah, I think, like embracing the culture and having the positive attitude, like focusing on the positive aspects. Those are very important steps when you are moving and you are like living in a completely different culture. So like what attracted you to Dubai?
Yes, good question. So I was living in Australia for 2.5 years, and I actually was on my journey home to Ireland for my sister's wedding. I had some friends living in Dubai that I worked with in South Korea. So I said I would stop off for a week in Dubai on my way to Ireland. Spent a week with my friends here and just thought, wow, this is an amazing city. I could live here. I like this lifestyle. I like what Dubai has to offer. And from a cultural perspective, from a restaurant dining perspective, the architecture, it had the desert, the sea. I kind of thought, wow, I could really move here and live here for a few years. So I decided, went back to Ireland, had a think. While I was here for that week, my friend's friend was a recruiter. She took my CV. The week later, when I was back in Ireland, she contacted me about a job, and I said, yeah, put me forward. I ended up being offered the job, and then I decided not to go back to Australia and move to Dubai.
Wow, that's a quick transition.
Exactly. And look, I think in life you need to be open to things when they cross your path and when doors open. And I decided this has come to my doorstep, and things happen for a reason. So just jump at it, go at it. I'll move for a year or two, and I suppose, 13 years later, my life has changed completely, and in a very positive way from moving to Dubai.
That's good. I think that when we have an opportunity, it's important to act on the opportunity and then see how the things are going. So you acted on this opportunity which changed.
Exactly.
Your life. So like what would you, because there are many expats, because Dubai and UAE, it's an attractive country and place to live for some expats, and people are thinking to moving and finding a job or starting a business, or they are probably also relocating by their company. So like what would you advise to an expat who is thinking about relocating to Dubai or UAE region? What are like the key steps?
The key steps, what I would say number one is have patience. So when you are moving here, it's not the Western world. It's sold as the Western world and the glitz and the glam of Dubai, etc. But, it still is a young country. It's 49 years old. Processes and procedures are not always in place, although in 13 years they have come on drastically and there's improvements every year. But, in Europe, say, or the US, everything is structured and set up quite well from, years of being in operation. Here we're still learning and growing. So just come with an open mind and also come with a lot of patience. There's a saying in this part of the world called Inshallah, which means the will of God, it will happen. So inshallah, you will get your tenancy contract tomorrow, but it may be actually 3 days later when you get it. So just really come with patience and an open mind, and things happen a lot slower here than they would in other parts of the world. So just remember that and embrace that. And I suppose there's three types of people that would come here, as you just mentioned there. You have people that will come and set up their own business. You have individuals that will come looking for a job to be hired by a company. And then you have those people who are transferred with their company or already hired outside of here and relocated here. So I suppose let me break that down then in the three steps. So if you want to come here and set up your own company, it is relatively easy, and it's got a lot easier, and there's a lot of different packages and offerings available to you. You can now set up your company in a free zone and own your company 100%. There are good opportunities here, but I would say on that, do your research and make sure it's the correct market segment to go into. I suppose with setting up your company, the most important thing is having a very good and clear business plan. And when I say good and clear, it doesn't have to be comprehensive. Probably having a simpler business plan is better. Keep it simple, but have the main points there. And probably the most challenging and difficult thing now with setting up a company is getting a bank account opened. And that's why it's important to have a good business plan and very clear and not overly complex. And then it won't be as hard an issue getting a bank account opened. And then you have your individuals that will move here, in search of a job. And, they've heard or they might know people in Dubai who it's tax-free, great lifestyle, a lovely place to live in the world. Just I would say fantastic, and that's the way many people start off here. But just remember that Dubai is expensive, and moving here without a job can be expensive, and it can take, a lot of time to find a job, especially in your months, June, July, August, September, when, it's summer, it's very hot, a lot of people leave. Decisions can take a long time to be made. So, you may be offered a job and it could take 2 or 3 months to finalize everything. So my advice would be try and find a job before you come, or at least build up a network here. And if you are coming without a job, then, have basically a lot of cash behind you to put you through those first few months, because even renting a place is quite expensive. And then you obviously have your third category who are moved here, with the company, a transfer, or newly hired and relocated here. And obviously, the companies will usually take care of a lot of things and usually work with a company like us, a relocation company. So, we would have the call prior to those people coming. We would help manage their expectations, take the stress out of it all for them. So it's a relatively smooth process. And obviously, if people are moving here with children, then the schooling is the most important part. And we would say, to work on that at the very beginning. So I would say the key things is, if you have children, look at schooling well before you move here, or as soon as you know you're moving here, then register with at least 2 or 3 schools. And also from a document perspective, so to get a visa here, if you want to have a supervisor or above in your title, then you need to have your educational certificate attested in your home country. So it would be a good idea to get that done before you leave your home country. If you are sponsoring your spouse, bringing your spouse with you, you will need your marriage certificate attested, and for your children, the birth certificates. So it's important you get that done before you leave your home country. Otherwise, it can delay a lot of things, and as well be a costly process if you have to send your documents back home. And I suppose just one more thing on that, and it might sound like common sense, but we've seen a lot of cases where it's happened. If you're moving here, do not put your educational certificates, your birth certificates, any of your official documents in your shipment. Bring them with you, the physical copies, the originals, and many copies, because you will need them and you don't want them to be stuck in a shipment. So it might be, it sounds quite like common knowledge, but it's just important to be aware of that.
Yeah, so what do you see like a biggest mistake that expats are making, like during the relocation, or before relocating to Dubai?
I think the biggest mistake, I would say, definitely not coming here with an open mind, and probably thinking, if you're coming from Europe or the States, that things work the same. They don't. You need to, I suppose, manage your expectations, and we help clients manage their expectations and come with an open mind. Some people, from our perspective and relocation perspective, we see people might have in their head before they come, oh, I want to live in the marina, in a high apartment looking out on the water. But come with an open mind and explore other areas of Dubai, and you may be pleasantly surprised. And as well, Dubai is you've got new Dubai and old Dubai. And, I know people living here 13 years that have never been in the old part of the city where all the culture is. And, you've got your dhows on the creek and where they deliver goods, go across the Gulf to, say, Iran or other countries. Go down and explore that part of the city. Don't just live in the new Dubai and the glitz and the glam. Fully embrace the culture and what Dubai has to offer, because it has so much to offer.
Yeah, so I think it's once again about embracing the culture and being open-minded.
Definitely. And from a culture and language perspective, I suppose, kind of a good thing to talk about as well. Language-wise, yes, Arabic is the language of the Middle East, but everything in the UAE and Dubai is in English. So all business is through English. You don't need to know the local language. But of course, it's nice to have at least a few words. And if you meet somebody local, to be able to say at least hello or thank you in the local language. But it's not a necessity. And also culturally wise, if you live in New Dubai, you don't really have to know a lot about the culture, but it's respectful to understand the culture. Especially, it is a Muslim country and you need to be respectful of that. Same-sex marriages are illegal here. Living together as a couple, not being married, is illegal. Being drunk and disorderly is illegal. So, you need to remember these things and respect the culture for what it is, and fully embrace the culture. I think a lot of people forget about that. They see the new and glitz and glam Dubai and kind of forget about that soul that it has. And at the end of the day, it is a Muslim country and we need to be respectful of that. I think it's kind of, people get a bit lost and forget about that here, because 85% of the population are expats. So you don't really see locals that much, or you don't interact with locals that much, especially if you're working in a private company. There may not be any locals working in the company. It may be just expats. So unless you're working in a government company or visiting government departments, or in the malls, you may go days or weeks without actually seeing a local.
That's very, very interesting. That you don't see, that you do not see the local people. But I think that what you said is very important, like learning about the culture and respecting the culture, because this is what I advise, like to every expat who is moving to a different country or city, like exploring and learning what are the rules, what is the culture, and learning a little bit of language to communicate with the local people. So, like, what do you see based on your experience? What are like the career opportunities or business opportunities for expats who are moving to Dubai?
Yeah, I suppose, look, and I'll be honest about it, obviously with COVID-19, the landscape has changed, and I suppose definitely globally has changed. And I would say, your aviation, hospitality, or those type of industries, there are not so many opportunities. And, sadly, and I think like everywhere else in the world, a lot of people have lost their jobs. So there are a lot of people here looking for work. But industries that would be quite strong would be definitely, your IT and tech sector, pharmaceutical, medical, those sectors. And, there are opportunities here. And I'm very positive that Dubai will, come out of this very strong. The UAE and Dubai, it's very resilient. And we've been through over the last, 30, 40 years, it's had the Gulf War, several things that have happened in the region, and it always bounces back. And I think the government here is very, forward thinking. And, at the end of the day, they can make decisions in instance because, in minutes, because the public population, we don't get a vote or we don't get a say, so they can make changes quite quickly, and they have that vision, and financially they have money behind them to make things happen. It's funny here, like I used to travel a lot, and I'd go away, maybe come back after 2 or 3 weeks, and you'd see a building and it was like just started and it's halfway up. So it's like when they want something done here, it's done. And, you know, a new road or a bridge might take 10 years back home to build. Here it's built in a few months. So they have that very positive attitude. And if they want something done, it will be done. So, you know, and I do think, obviously, it's a tax-free environment from a corporation tax and an income tax. And that's very attractive to people. And with what's happening in the world now with governments, you know, supporting individuals and companies, I think taxes are bound to increase in other countries around the world. So Dubai will perhaps become more attractive to people looking for a tax-free environment. But saying that, I suppose, on a negative side, you know, during this whole COVID over the last few months and running a business, since we haven't paid tax, there's no pot of money there. So we didn't get any furlough support or staff salaries paid. But, you know, when you live in a tax-free environment, we can't expect to be bailed out when during bad times like this. So you kind of take everything, I suppose, there's a pros and cons to everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think there are negative and positive thing to every kind of situation. But I
Exactly.
like the Dubai. It's like a city which is changing, evolving, and like thinking forward. So I think this is like the main aspect that is attracting expats and international who are thinking about moving there.
Definitely.
Yeah. So what are your plans for the future?
From a company perspective or a personal perspective?
Let's say both. Yeah.
Both. Well, look, I suppose let me start off from a company perspective. EER was established 15 years ago. I'm with the company 10 years. It's Irish owned and Irish managed. We have a plan to grow and expand. We've done very well over the last 5 or 6 years, and we have grown considerably. We very much are about the service we deliver and keeping a high standard of service. And I suppose what's important to us is as we grow, that we maintain that level of service. And we think, there are lots of opportunities in this region. And we basically want to jump at them and grow our business over the next few years. And I suppose from a personal perspective, look, Dubai is, as everyone knows, it can't be a long-term home. We can't get citizenship here or long-term residency. Basically, you have a 2 or 3 year residency that's renewed. I have no plan of leaving anytime soon. It's our home for now, and hopefully will be for, the near future. But at some stage, like everyone, we'll have to leave and move on. But, it's a lovely lifestyle here. The weather, we have the sun shining, of course, every day of the year. However, it is about 40 or 50 degrees at the moment, which can be quite uncomfortable at times. But, for 8 months of the year, it's beautiful. And at least you can plan, you can have barbecues all the time. I think I would find it quite hard going back to the Irish or the UK winters from this environment. So, yeah, look, and location-wise, you're in the middle of the world. You're in Europe in 6-7 hours. It's a great location for travel as well, and just has a lot to offer, a lot of opportunities. And of course, being tax-free is a big advantage as well.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. So thank you very much for being with us today and sharing your expertise and the steps to relocate to Dubai. So tell us, where can we find more information about Executive Expatriate Relocations, and also how we can connect with you? And I know that you have a gift for our listeners, so tell us more.
Yes. So basically our website is www.eorme.com. On our website, you'll find links to all our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. And yes, so basically to any listener or any potential new client, where we will offer 10% discount on any of our services. So we've 3 divisions, I suppose, within the business: company and corporation. We set up businesses, immigration, we process visas, and relocation, helping people to settle in, find their homes, etc. So any of our services, anyone that's listening, it's a 10% discount. And, happy to have a call with anyone, initial call to answer any questions they have, or if they're thinking about Dubai or the Middle East, please contact us. Happy to share our advice and information and help you start your journey.
Fantastic, fantastic. So I will put all the links, the contact details with the show notes, so listeners can connect with you and learn more about the company.
Brilliant.
So thank you very much once again for being with us today. Congratulations, and the best for your newcomer to the family.
Thank you, Dominika. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you very much for listening or watching if you are watching the video. So tell us, what are your questions? What are your learning points from this interview? What are your doubts when it comes to moving to Dubai or Middle East? Share in the comments, and I will be back with another fantastic episode soon. So thank you very much for watching or listening, and speak to you soon. Bye.